Universe. What is life? We are here to talk about all these questions today on a Star Trek podcast.
Yeah, doing philosophical discussions.
Hell yeah.
And cum jokes on Star Trek.
Mostly cum jokes.
Mostly cum jokes, yes.
A lot of boofing jokes, I think. We throw a lot of those in there.
A lot of boofs.
A lot of boofs. Boofs and goofs. That's what we should call ourselves.
Yeah, boofs and goofs.
Boofs and goofs. That's boofs and goofs about Star Trek. That's all we do.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Boofs and Goofs, also known as Soy Trek.
Yeah.
I'm Comrade Britt.
And I'm Comrade Pat.
Welcome. You're looking awfully stiff today.
Am I?
Yeah, as a comrade at least.
Oh, yeah.
I think it looks like you've taken a lot of loads, maybe in the last 2 or 3 days. I'd say like not yesterday necessarily, because I don't think it dries that fast exactly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when you let it dry enough and then you just take it and then wring it out, it's basically like a big poof of like powdered sugar.
Okay, yeah, because it dries out.
It just becomes airborne.
Right. Yeah, you ever line that up and take a line of that, snort it?
Yeah. I mean, it's perfectly safe. It's like you're reintroducing those lost fluids and lost vitamins and just like essence. You're absorbing it back into your body.
Right. Your essence definitely.
Yeah.
The semen is the essence of the body. Really. Yeah.
It's life.
It is.
That's life, brother.
That's fucking cum is life. Life is cum. Mm-hmm. Come on over. I'll give you some.
It is kind of nuts. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, it is. Well, that's where it comes from. Is your nuts?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Just like how. Yeah, it's like wow, that can make life.
Yeah. I mean, not our cum.
Not ours.
High five.
Boom. Yeah.
We got the old snip. You got the Dr. Snip. You literally went to a place called Dr. Snip for your vasectomy.
Yeah. It was great. I didn't even have to take my boots off. I just get my shoes on.
Oh, wow.
I had my hoodie on. Yeah, and he put a little thing on my piece of paper on my crotch, cut a hole in it, put my balls out of it, and operated.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and he snipped me up, and we were talking the entire time.
Right. You'll have a chatty doctor while you're getting your balls snipped up.
I know.
Mine was like 8:30 in the morning, and I don't wake up that early. It's just like the only time they had available, and so I'm just basically sleeping my way through the procedure.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty easy. Apparently, my friend said that they actually showed their friend our vasectomy podcast because they were like, I want to get a vasectomy, but I think it might hurt. And they're like, oh, no, you should listen to this.
Oh, nice.
It's it gives, I think, a pretty objective view of what it's like to get a vasectomy.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's incredibly painless, which I was like.
Yeah, it's, I mean, not
afterwards.
Yeah, it's not a pain-free process entirely.
No, I mean, you're going to feel like shit. You're going to want to, just vibe and watch TV for a while.
And that was only 2 days for me where my balls really... Well, the thing, though, is, too, my balls hurt after 7 days because, you get blue balls, Yeah. You get horny and, that kind of builds up and, blood pools, in your balls and shit. And it's, not actually, good for you, really. And it's, nature telling you, hey, you need to fucking at least, jerk off or something, buddy.
Yeah. That first one was so, very dangerous for me. I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
But it did kind of hurt. But, got to do what you got to do.
Got to do.
Yeah.
Oh. So, we got to do the Patreon thing.
Oh, yeah,
Hell
Patreon!
Yeah. We got a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/dumbidiotsbs to support us and our other shows. What are our other shows on the Dumb Idiot Bullshit Podcast Network, you might ask? Well, we've also got Prison Breakdown, an academic prison podcast, which I produce but do not star in. We've got Soy Trek, which is what you're listening to right fucking now.
Whoa.
We've got Dumb Idiot Bullshit, the flagship show of the network that we made way after the network was around, which is just kind of like random news, comedy, stuff like that. We have Getting Head, a bucket cast, and we have The Media Dungeon. Mm-hmm. All cool shit. So at our Patreon, there's a bunch of different tiers, and you can get all types of stuff. Our top tier for $20 a month, you can get Soy Trek merch that is like based on like Star Trek stuff. It's Star Trek parody merchandise, which I make for nowhere else anymore because Paramount shut us down.
Yeah. But they're very protective.
But since this is like a subscription service, I can, I'm not selling these things directly.
You're making it for your friends.
Oh, I mean, I'm not making it. All these things are already made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so like it's like I'm selling off my remaining stock. It's not selling it off. It's a subscription service where I give you something truly random.
Yeah.
Like I just decide what to give you. This week I sent out actually new stuff, which was Raytheon and Lockheed Martin shirts. And you might be like, wait, you're a leftist. What do you mean? Well, these are parody shirts, but the one I'm wearing right now says Raytheon, Perpetual War since 1922.
Hells yeah.
Yeah. So it's obviously like, parody, satire. It's definitely just parody. It's like, yeah. Yep.
Doing the parody.
Loving the parody. Mm-hmm. So, for $10 a month, you get access to
The Media Dungeon.
Which is my Plex server. It's got over 18,000 films. It's got over 1,700 shows, which is like way more than any other streaming service.
Yeah.
Just to put it simply. Like... Amazon technically has more shows, but all of those have ads. Yeah, basically,
and you have to give money to.
And there's also some rental, and that also includes all their rental ones.
Yeah,
like actually getting a hold of a number of actually how many shows they have for free is like very difficult to find.
Yeah, and there's some weird blind spots in their library, but I don't have it. Like, fuck that Bezos.
Yeah, I still get Amazon Prime just because I kind of get some materials for my work from Amazon.
That's true, yeah.
And so I kind of have to rely on that. And Amazon Prime is very helpful for shipping. Mm-hmm. Free shipping for a lot of things is very fucking cost effective.
Oh, yeah.
And, you get free movies and shit in there, too. Whatever. For $5 a month, we make you a little producer of the show and say thank you to people just like... Let's go. Sam Mayo, Jormore, Gursky, Ethan Adams, Dylan Lance, David Craning Sights, Jordan Hale, Awful Star Trek Drawings, which is a great Instagram account you should check out, Tim Wilkinson, Shane Williams, SFC Punk, 7 of 9, Seb, Roberto Molino, Robert Yolito, Papa Poison, Laura Flame, Kyle Simmons, Jose Martinez, James Hartman, Iggy, Gillian McCrary, Gabe Siciliano, D. Riker, Big Strong Boy, Benjamin Van Galen, Asher Pliskin, Abigail Simpson, Skeptic, Shane Sawyer, Nova, Nick Savard, Elizabeth Hearn, John Sincox, Joe DeVideo, and Electric Baphomet. Oh, one more. Our good friends over at the Bruce Campbell podcast. And they also Anamorphin Time podcast. They just launched a new podcast called Hate Speech, I think. Hate Speech. Which is like their first episode is about how they hate Mr. Beast. And each episode they have a new they have a new person come on and talk about something they hate. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I'm definitely going to come on and do an episode on it
actually
eventually.
just thinking today how much, because I blocked Mr. Beast today because he was annoying the fuck out of me.
Mr. Beast is super annoying. Yeah.
Like, and yeah.
And it might not even be his fault. Like, he's systemically annoying.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that someone like him exists sucks.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's just like the guise of operating as like, you know, giving money away. Like, he's making more money. Like, the money that he gives away, I think he can actually consider as like a charitable donation. And so, like, he can claim it on his taxes and get it back anyway.
Right, and all he's doing...
And for whatever money he's giving away in that video, he's making probably 10 times back that amount. So it's just like... And that's why I feel like... I mean, I personally feel like charity is bullshit. Like, we shouldn't have...
We should have governmental organizations that actually fill those needs that charities aim to fill.
By, like, taxing all income over $1 million by 80%.
There you go.
Like, that is honestly what we should be doing in this country to fulfill.
I mean, also, like, actually have a progressive tax when it comes to... what am I thinking of? Capital gains.
Yeah.
And so the more like profit you actually make off taxes, the more it's actually taxed.
Yeah.
Like,
and honestly, I mean, that's because like the charities are just like tax safe havens for a lot of these people, and like Mr. Beast like acting under the guise of being like this, you know, this magnanimous man who's giving back in small ways. Like, yeah, he's choosing people to basically act as employees for him, and then he's just making like 10 times, you know, he's just making tons of money off of them, off of exploiting them and using their stories and making them compete in very humiliating, contests, like basically like fucking Squid Game shit. Yeah. And it's just like, and that's one reason
it's that mixed with like Mythbusters, and it's all hosted by a guy who looks like the night manager at a Jack in the Box.
He looks like he's like a weird rodent or something, and that's one of the reasons I blocked it, because like a video came up where it's just like, I put people between the ages of 1 and 100 in glass boxes. I'm like, okay, so we're at the point where we're putting children into glass boxes, like
kids in cages.
So I was like, yep, I am calling it now. I don't want to see this anymore. I'm tired of this, especially since like, you know, Elon Musk is really pushing him, because like it's trying to like manufacture the idea that like it's profitable to post on Twitter, and using like this complete outlier, this like thing, you know, Mr. Beast should exist outside of like the norm for this, considering he's already such a huge figure. And has but he's like, you know, like, oh, Mr. Beast just made $250,000.
But also, it was revealed that they likely inflated those numbers.
Oh
in
yeah,
order to
they
pay
absolutely
more.
did. Like that, you know, that's why all the bots are so insane. It's just
pussy in bio, baby, pussy in bio.
Yeah, it's just like
pussy in bio,
pussy in bio. So it's such complete fucking shit, and I'm tired of seeing. I'm tired of seeing him. Like, I'll punch him. You know, or he can give me $50,000. I don't care.
Yeah.
Fuck him. I'm tired of seeing his fucking face.
Yeah, me too. So today we are here to talk about Star Trek.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
That good shit.
So we got the patrons voted on this one, and this is a benefit you get at any level of our Patreon.
Yeah.
You can vote on the next episode we watch.
Yeah. It was great. This is actually one of my favorite episodes of Enterprise. Like, I kind of just love this sort of like alternative history, like kind of stuff. It's great.
Hell yeah, me too. So this is Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, actually just Enterprise.
Yeah.
Episode 2 from season 2, Carbon Creek. It was first aired on September 25th, 2002. Post 9/11.
Post 9/11.
About a year after 9/11, when you think about it.
Damn.
So, this is the 26th of 97 episodes produced in Enterprise, and the 27th in the release schedule of Enterprise. So, yeah, it was released after another episode that was made before it. So, it's the 655th episode released in all of Star Trek.
Yeah.
The teleplay is by Chris Black, who's best known for doing 14 episodes of Enterprise, including Singularity, The Breach, First Flight, and Doctor's Orders.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then it is the story is by Rick Berman, Brandon Braga, and Dan O'Shannon. But I don't know.
I think I know what Rick Berman
added to the story. Oh, yeah. I definitely know what he added to the story, baby. 100%. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I mean, but it's pretty obvious. It's like, Rick Berman probably, got that credit because he's just like, you know what? I got an idea. Yeah. And that's all he added to
What if there's feet? The episode is directed by James Contner, who directed 5 episodes of Enterprise, including Dear Doctor and Minefield. It's interesting to note that except for the people who wrote the story, the director and the writer did not work on any previous Trek before.
Yeah, Enterprise. That's interesting, yeah.
But you see a lot of that in Enterprise. There's a lot of people in Enterprise that are only credited ever at working on the show. I think it was like a deliberate try for like Rick Berman specifically to like change his production team from the Star Trek production team because you look at like the Voyager writer room and the DS9 writer room, and they're dominated by people who worked on TNG.
Yeah.
Right?
And Rick Berman didn't like a lot of the ideas that like DS9 writers had.
Yeah, which is I think why he like moved over and did like Voyager because
you can tell a lot because like a lot of the episodes, they don't really like resemble any of the like TNG, DS9, or Voyager.
No, they're a lot more like militaristic and like
especially after 9/11.
Yeah, a lot more like neoliberal or kind of neoconservative in a lot of ways in their approach to politics. It's kind of weird, But this isn't really one of those episodes.
No, it's a great episode. I like it.
Yeah, you want to get on this hobby horse and ride it down, baby?
Let's get on it, hobby horse now.
What does that even mean? We open with T'Pol, Archer, and Trip in the mess hall, and Archer pours some wine for the others to celebrate.
Well, this is like their captain's quarters or captain's dining area.
Oh, is it the captain's dining area?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But Archer pours some wine for the others to celebrate T'Pol being on the ship for 1 year.
Yeah.
She appreciates the sentiment, but says she's simply doing her duties. Archer says he's filling out a crew survey on her as a formality, and she's doing the same for him.
I like how she was like unfazed by that, but when she flipped it back on him, he's just like, "You are? Oh God!
Oh no!
You're reporting back to me to high command?
They're gonna know what I do in private." So Archer does have a question about a 5-day leave T'Pol had at Carbon Creek, Pennsylvania. She took a trip to Earth on leave. She said she went on a personal matter. Interesting. Trip pries, and T'Pol says she wanted to visit the site of first contact. Archer says, no, that took place in Montana, and T'Pol disagrees.
Bozeman, Montana.
She says, and she's like resistant to kind of tell him more about it, but Trip's like, hey, no, tell us a story. And she's like, okay, my great-grandmother was there. Do you want to hear a story? And they're like, yeah. And then we have the opening credits at 2:40 here. I think it's a very concise opening, very tight for how the episode goes.
Yeah.
Good opening, yeah. So we go back in the past, and T'Pol's great-grandma, who we will call T'Grandma for this entire episode, because that's how I wrote it in my notes. It's like T'Pak or something like
Tamir.
that. Tamir, yeah.
Yeah, because
they only say it like a couple times, and so I just like didn't pick it up the first time, and I'm like, T'Grandma, whatever.
Yeah, she's named after the Mir space station.
Oh, okay, Tamir. Okay, that's cool. So,
also like I found out something else like with the names. Like I was just like I didn't know before. Like I was doing some research. Like I didn't know that, but.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll make sense later. So
T'Grandma is also played by Jolene Blalock, who plays T'Pol.
Yeah.
So this is like a T'Pol episode.
Yeah, they don't even give her a different haircut or anything.
No. So her ship is investigating the launching of Sputnik in Earth orbit when a malfunction occurs. In the present, Trip asks how it could have been T'Pol's great-grandma over 200 years ago, and Archer reminds him how long Vulcans live, which is like, he should know that.
Yeah.
T'Pol refuses to reveal her age and continues the story.
Yeah. I don't think, it's not revealed to
like never the final... ask a lady her age.
Yeah, it's not revealed to the final season. Like, she's like 66.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a gilf right there, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, like she reveals it to Trip, and Trip is like, I had sex with you.
Damn, you're the oldest broad I ever fucked. So The subspace transceiver was damaged in the crash, and they run out of food and go looking, find a deer, and one of the Vulcans suggests they eat it.
Yeah, Mistral, I think.
Yeah, Mistral says that. Yeah. And I never caught the name of the other guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's called Mo.
Yeah, he's called Mo. We'll call him Mo.
Yeah, we'll call him Mo.
So Mistral wants to eat the deer, and Mo is incredulous. And they say there's a settlement about 6 kilometers away, and they can get there. Mm-hmm. And then Mistral goes to get the deer.
Yeah, I like how I do like their outfits. Like I do like the vintage Vulcan outfits that they're wearing.
Yeah, the production on this episode is really good. Actually, it's got a good throwback 1940s 50s feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, and I think I was talking with Lucy the other day. It was just like about how and there's a big discussion about just now episode TV seasons are typically just 10 episodes now.
Right.
And we don't really get to have these sort of these money saving episodes that are just that
are let's use the fucking Old Town backlot fucking set.
Yeah.
We've already got 1,000 costumes.
Yeah, it's just we had in TNG we had the backlot episodes, whatever, Old West Town or cave episodes, and it does give opportunity to actually do something interesting, something interesting with a story instead of having to rely on expensive $1 million space battles.
Yeah,
and I think that, and this is really evident of that, where it's there's very little sci-fi gadgetry a couple times.
Yeah, there's a couple if it advances the plot, but other than that, it kind of avoids that.
Yeah, and it's a great story.
Yeah. So in the town, when they get there, everything's old-timey. The Vulcans try on human clothes, and to Grandma puts her shirt on backwards.
Yeah, and this is the Rick Berman scene.
Yeah, definitely.
You see the silhouette of Tamir through a bed sheet, and
it's provocative.
It's very provocative. You see full on nips. Nips. I was just oh yeah, this is something that Rick Berman said that should have been added. To have this silhouette of Jolene just coming through this bed sheet, and where he leaves nothing to the imagination. It's just this could have been done without this, but
this is very Rick.
Yeah, it's Rick, very Rick, and it's
Rick's dick. Rick's dick makes the decisions. You know what they say. Yeah. So the background music for the scene has an incredible fretless bass part. It's really good, and I was jamming on it. I'm damn, they got someone good for this.
Yeah.
Some dudes are listening to baseball in a truck, and the Vulcans muse on this. They decide to enter a bar for sustenance.
Yeah, it is funny. I'm guessing because they don't maybe they're not able to read English, but they do walk right by a cafe.
Yeah.
And go right to the bar instead. Just maybe we can find food here.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I guess they haven't done first contact yet, so they probably. Maybe they gotta understand standard English or
Yeah, I'm wondering if they did before crash landing. They.
But this isn't the time when there's no standard, so we don't know if standard is actually English or if that's just how it's translated for the viewer. Yeah, Star Trek.
It's clear they probably had done research beforehand, of Earth languages and knew English.
Yeah. So they enter the bar and nobody cares. They notice humans still use currency.
Yeah.
They're they haven't got Bitcoin yet? What the fuck? What kind of backwards ass shit is this?
What's going on?
Right? So they ask for anything free from the bartender and get pretzels and water. They say they were in an accident, and some guy offers to give them a lift before challenging a kid to pool. The game pool. He doesn't challenge him to go to the pool with him. That'd be really creepy.
No.
The Vulcan man offers to play pool, calling it simple.
Yeah.
The human says if the Vulcan wins, he will pay him, but if not, to Grandma has to have a drink with the guy.
Yeah, and Tamir's pissed because I'm guessing she's kind of their captain died in the crash landing.
Right. He was one of 4 people on the ship, and
and Tamir's their the second in command, and so she's just I'm doing the talking, but Mistral's just he's definitely this is the start of a lot of his just going against her orders and doing what he wants, and because
he's got his own ideas of like what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's more interested in the cultural aspects of humanity and wants to interact with them.
Because she's like a geologist and he's more like, I don't know, a sociologist or something.
Yeah, so he's fascinated by human culture right from the get-go, and just like ignores her when she's just like, no, don't enter this contest with this man. I'm gonna have to socialize with him.
Right. So Mistral kicks the guy's dick in, and they use the money to get groceries.
Yeah.
He calls a frozen meal cryogenics.
Yeah. It's like, well, maybe you should, and like, I didn't know they explored cryogenics. It's like, well, maybe you should have asked the storekeep if you're so keen on talking to everyone. But it was like, I did like this a lot. And I just thought it was funny that they did buy like TV dinners. Because it's like, how are they going to heat them up?
I mean, one assumes they'll like find a place to stay.
Yeah, but then I was just imagining them taking it back to their. I wish we got to see them actually eat the TV dinners.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm guessing clearly like they couldn't maintain like a vegetarian Vulcan diet. You know, they're clearly eating like the shitty TV dinner turkey or whatever it was.
I would have really loved at this point if they like took a hard turn and made this like a pool movie, like a pool hustler movie.
Oh yeah,
episode like
it could have been
The Sting or whatever.
Yeah, it could have been
Pool Hall Junkies.
Yeah, like they're just like like Mistral just like ends up like. He starts out small, just like taking Carbon Creek for all it's worth, and then like he takes it to the big time.
Right. Like, I'm going to the big city. You see, I'm going to Philadelphia.
Hey, but we don't know.
We don't know.
Like we could be writing like another episode of
Enterprise. Enterprise season 5, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the present, Trip says this story sounds indulgent and like an episode of The Twilight Zone. And it kind of does.
Yeah.
So back in the past, and it's probably based on an episode of The Twilight Zone, honestly.
Yeah.
So back in the past, the Vulcans take whatever employment they can until they find rescue, doing plumbing, mining, and sweeping up the bar. So Mo is the plumber, Mistral is the miner, and then to Grandma is sweeping up the bar.
Yeah, she's just like, she's basically like the bar back.
Yeah, and she has hair that like covers her ears and never moves apparently because no one ever sees her ears. Whereas like Mistral and Mo, like Mo I guess has
Mo
like,
also has hair. Yeah,
it's weird that their hair like never moves and no one ever sees their ears.
No. Yeah, that's very.
They must have very thick hair.
Yeah, especially like considering like already like a lot of the townspeople are already creeping on Tamir.
Oh,
so
I would too.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, but still,
yeah. But, so it's just like it's incredible. Like no one has like got fresh with her. But I mean, like they're really painting like the townspeople of Carbon Creek as being like very like homey, kind of just like all shucks type.
The salt of the earth people.
Yeah, not really creepy or too predatory. So
I mean, we don't know. That could have been scenes that were cut out. Scenes Rick Berman intentionally tried to put in.
Yeah. I wonder if Jolene Babcock has any sort of like stories.
I bet she does. Yeah. I mean, like she was like exploited on that show.
Yeah, like
that show is like softcore to porn.
Yeah, they definitely like exploit a lot. They're just like, well, T'Pol's gonna take her outfit off in this one, and it's just like, what does this have to do with the story? Well, no, we're just gonna a lot of sensual foot massages. It's like okay, we know where this is going.
So, in the bar, Mistral is talking with the bartender about atomic tests. When her son, the bartender's son, ponies up to the bar and asks to play pool, saying it will be a great test of geometry because he has a geometry test the next day. And he also says he's going to college and he's got a scholarship to it, and someday he wants to be like a physicist or something. And Mistral's like, hell yeah. Yeah, this is one of the good ones. Yeah, so at their home, the Vulcans are being domestic with each other when Mo comes in and says it's not tolerable for him to be a plumber and be called Mo because of his haircut.
Yeah. It's one of their stooges.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't know his actual name. They might say it in the episode, but I just know him as Mo.
Yeah, I always missed his name. Actually, kind of missed Mistral's name when I saw this episode before, and then
I got it only because we used to work next to a restaurant called Mistral.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was right on the corner there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a story about a waitress from there. So Topol's Topol's grandma says she's afraid the civilization is on the brink of destruction because of the atomic tests. Mm-hmm. The other Vulcan doesn't agree. Mistral doesn't agree, having watched a lot of television, specifically Cinemax.
Yeah.
I've masturbated to a lot of this, what they call soft core. And I must tell you, I think they will survive.
They will survive. I kind of actually wish, I wish they in their house, because they're able to save up and buy and get an apartment. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wish
this was in the 1950s when that was possible.
Yeah, I know they were just working for peanuts, but I did.
They literally paid their mortgage in peanuts, and they allowed them to because they were white.
Yeah, and but I was kind of thinking I would have liked if they had actually started to do the aesthetics of their home or their Vulcan home world.
That would have been interesting.
It's just they
everything. There's a layer of sand on the floor.
Yeah, there's candles everywhere, and in one of their little meditation areas, and just and so
they've got a big science fair volcano.
Yeah, and someone would have come in and been like, "What the fuck is going on?"
So Mistral says humans just haven't realized their potential yet. Mm-hmm. Tigran Pol says if they're discovered, the humans will destroy them.
Yeah. Which is also funny, he's just look how compassionate they are. Look how they accepted us. But, if it was one of Tuvok's ancestors who had crash landed,
that would be a different motherfucking story.
That would have been a different story.
Oh, man.
Which also would have been a very interesting story just because, X-Files...
they could have done a fucking, Far Beyond the Stars with that shit.
Yeah, and also X-Files kind of had an episode like that where... it turned out one of the first black it had a story where a black baseball player was actually an alien.
Okay.
And so it kind of dealt with that sort of he's an outsider, and he's also an outsider. He's kind of dealing with prejudice because he's posing as a black man in 1950s America. And,
sure. And
just sort of he's facing this sort of racism as an alien. But yeah, that would have been interesting to have he's suffering racism and bigotry, but not because he's a Vulcan and an actual extraterrestrial, but because he happens to have black skin.
Yeah.
But they're all white passing, so they're able to get an apartment and interact with these people in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. So Mistral says he needs to go make a repair to the ship so he can catch I Love Lucy later that night.
Yeah. What's good for him.
But he's not going to the ship.
No.
He's going on a date with that bartender.
Which showing he's Vulcans are supposed to tell the truth, and he's being purposely deceitful.
Yeah. And first contact indeed.
The first contact, he's learned the human art of lying.
Yeah, more like first contact.
Yeah.
first gat.
Yeah.
So after their date, do they record the first alien to human blowjob? I think that should be recorded. That's a significant achievement, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Mistral experienced all of that.
Absolutely.
Mistral went all in.
And you gotta think too. I mean, we'll talk about it at the end, but he's got to have Pon farr, and on Earth that could be a seriously bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after their date, the bartender asks Mistral what he's hiding under his hat, because he's been wearing a fucking beanie the whole time, a fucking hipster. And he asks her what happened to her husband, and she says he just left, and then they kiss. He says
very awkwardly.
Yeah. He says he's surprised, but it was very pleasant. And he definitely came in his pants.
Yeah.
She says they've got company, and to grandma is staring at them. Yeah. So Mistral exits the car and goes to her.
And she's not, and the bartender isn't disturbed by this because Tamir is standing there like an insane person.
I think it's supposed to be like, he probably said it's like his sister or something, and so a sister could be weird like that in the 1950s.
But still, despite anyone who it is, like if you're like making out in a car and then you look over and like someone is just like staring at you, like,
oh, that makes me come.
but she's like also like taking a broad stance where she's just like,
oh, she is, yeah, she's taking the power stance.
She's taking a power stance, just staring at them with daggers in her eyes.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was just very funny. But she's not like, the bartender's like, well, that's fucking weird.
So to grandma grills him, and he says he knew she wouldn't understand. To grandma orders him not to have more contact with the woman, but he says their mission is over, and they may never leave Earth.
Yeah.
Just pretty fucked up, man. That would suck. It would suck to think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'd be... every year would be harder and harder to blend in because it's just like they have very obvious ears. And I was also surprised like that this is like the 1950s, and I'm surprised there was no accusations of them being spies.
Right, exactly.
Because it's during the Cold War, so
and they just like, show up in a town.
Yeah, show up in a town. No, they have no. They don't have any sort of like identification, and they also have a very weird way of talking. That's I was thinking about recently, just how.
Yeah, these people would have been hung, dude.
Yeah, like I was kind of thinking like how it is interesting, like accents. Like there's no like Vulcan specific accent, like obviously like when everyone talks in Star Trek, they talk with like whatever accent they were born with or grew up with. Like it's just like a British actor playing a Vulcan is going to have a British accent, etc. And so it's just like we don't think about like aliens would naturally have like a weird accent taking on English. Like they wouldn't be able to. They would have a very bizarre way of talking, and that doesn't really come through at all. Like you think that would like be like they'd be like, what's that accent? But it's not something that we can really we can't imagine what that would even sound like coming from a human mouth, or imagine what a Vulcan accent would sound like.
Indeed. So where are we? At the bar, to grandma is closing up when the young kid happens upon her, because I guess it's the son of the bartender.
Yeah.
To grandma says she was about to meditate. And she's like holding a candle.
Yeah.
They talk about meditation, geometry, and Sputnik, and then the kid leaves.
Yeah, and he kind of looks like he's trying to like hit on her.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. So down in the mines, the Vulcan, the Mistral, declines an invitation to a baseball game when suddenly an explosion happens. And over 20 men are trapped. Later, he brings the other two Vulcans down to use their technology to free the men. To grandma says they can't do this as it breaks their version of the Prime Directive.
Yeah, interfering with their culture and like infecting it directly. So Mistral is fully human pilled and totally people core here. Yeah, he's totally.
And he's like, no, we gotta help.
Yep.
Like they've helped us, we gotta help them.
Yeah.
And he makes a pretty compelling point. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
those people are my friends. Like,
he talks about like their empathy and stuff like that, and he's like gaining human empathy and stuff by being with them for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty cool. And it's logical. They don't talk about logic at all in this episode, really, which is kind of strange for Vulcans, right?
Yeah, like it doesn't come up once, and they're super into logic, and
they're usually logic pilled.
Yeah, they're usually logic pilled. And so they don't use that as an argument like why we shouldn't be like interfering in human affairs, like logically, like using our advanced technology to free them, opens us up to like greater scrutiny, because it's like, okay, well, how did you move? How did you make this hole in the wall?
Right.
It's just like.
But I mean, the idea is to like hide it enough to where like, and if a miracle happens and you can't like prove how it happened, some people will just be like, fine, that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot of scrutiny for like miraculous things that happen that like save 20 people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, most people aren't like, I think it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
It was aliens.
Yeah.
They're mostly just like, oh, that's good that they survived.
Yeah,
it's crazy that
also saves them from any sort of like suspicion that they may be Russian assets or something. Because,
true.
Because I it is funny that isn't an angle that appears at all in this episode, considering how bizarre they look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like even like I think like Enterprise does a good job of especially playing up the fact that like Vulcans have green blood because they do have sort of like a greenish complexion to them.
Yeah, like this Vulcan. I mean, they could have never gone to the doctor while they were there. So it's crazy that like a foreign species going to Earth didn't get infected by them with anything, and they didn't infect the Vulcans with anything.
That's true.
Like, how does that happen? Like every time a fucking civilization meets another civilization for the first time, there's fucking all diseases and shit, man.
Also, one thing that wasn't commented on was like, especially this is the first time they've actually like been around humans, they don't once mention the smell.
They don't,
because Vulcans have a very heightened senses and they think humans stink.
They do, yeah.
So like,
which is like a thing even in like TOS.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, and especially in like, and like I think one of the first episodes of Enterprise, like T'Pol is like putting on like smell suppressant underneath their nose.
You know, no one really talks about the smells of Star Trek that much.
Yeah, I mean there is some discussions in Enterprise, especially like the first time they go to a Klingon ship. Like I think Trip mentions like, wow, that stinks.
Yeah, and then like the scent of Worf is discussed in an episode of DS9.
Mm-hmm.
There's occasional talk of like stench and stuff, and like sometimes it's used as like a Klingon insult. Like I think the House of Quark, I think Worf says to Gorka's aide something like, "What's that stench?"
Yeah,
some shit like that.
Oh yeah, he's like, I smell a patak.
Yeah, some shit like that. Yeah. Patak says what? Patak says what?
What?
Patak. So they do find out like fucking Mistral becomes a hero. They know he saved everyone because he just like comes in on the room of men and they're like, whoa, he saved us and shit.
Yeah.
But no one ever discovers the truth.
No.
They hide it well enough. Who cares?
Yeah.
He saved them all. He's a hero. Cool. So several months later, the Vulcans get a call from a rescue team.
Yeah.
They finally gotten their distress signal.
After they had accepted that they were probably never going to be saved. And
right.
Like, this is our new home.
They got their distress signal, and they're going to be there in 3 days. So they're like, meet us at the crash site. We'll come get you. And it's crazy. No one has encountered the crash site.
Yeah.
They're there for how long? Like, I assumed several months.
Yeah, it's weird there's like mining in this town, but no logging or anything, because you think like, because there's lots of trees. Like I think it's supposed to be Pennsylvania, but like it's clearly filmed in like the California redwoods.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So like, it's incredible. Yeah, there's no one stumbles upon this site, whether it be like an outdoorsman or like a hunter, something like that, or any sort of like loggers or anything. It's just like it just stays there, and it's a huge ship, and it's crazy like no one saw it fall. It
didn't appear on any radars during the Cold War.
It wasn't noticed by the townsfolk. It was something entering our atmosphere at a very high rate. Crashing.
No one
heard it.
No one during those months like went like hunting or anything, like exploring around that like whole area was just like completely abandoned, 6 kilometers from a small town.
Also, were they able to retrieve the wreckage?
I imagine so. I don't know. I don't know if we saw that or not.
No.
So while to grandma is sweeping the street, young kid comes upon her. And by young, I mean this kid's like 18.
Yeah, he's about to go to college.
Yeah, he's about to go to college. So he asks where she's leaving to, because he heard she's leaving, and she says, back home up north.
Yeah, very suspiciously.
Yeah.
It's like, well...
And he's like, okay.
Yeah, everyone just said that. Like, I think most people would ask a follow-up
Canada?
question.
Like,
yeah, most people would ask a follow-up question. It's like, oh, we're up north. Like, what? New York, Connecticut. It's like where are you talking in relation to us? And it's
because like north from Pennsylvania, there's not much except for Canada. It's like northeast of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. So, the kid admits that he's not going to college because he couldn't come up with tuition money. He says he might go into the mines.
Which honestly, like at 1950s, like how much was college going on? That much?
Yeah, right? That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, like in like fucking you could like work a weekend at his fucking mom's bar sweeping up for that money, dude, and he could have paid his way all through college. Yeah, that's a great point. And he already had a tuition or a scholarship, like what the fuck? That's a great point. That's a huge plot hole. That's an enormous plot hole.
It was definitely taking like 2000's idea of college and applying it to 1950s.
Right. So, young kid wishes to grandma good luck and says, I hope you'll come visit again soon.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll try. So, kid's mom, the bartender, says he took the college boards and got the highest score in the county and says it's not fair. So he says this to grandma in the bar. And so to grandma goes on a little trip.
Yeah, she's showing that she's concerned. She wants this boy to succeed. She herself fell into the Mistral trap.
So to grandma goes back to the ship and finds something there. And then takes a little train ride, and she has this great outfit going on here.
Yeah,
it's a really cute 1950s outfit.
She was using her time on Earth to accessorize.
Oh, 100%. She learned fashion fast, baby.
Yeah.
It's only logical to be this bad.
You think? And it's funny because like they stole their first set of outfits. It's interesting, like, in such a small town, it's interesting that like no one was just like, my favorite shirt went missing, or my favorite dress went missing. Then they just see them walking through the streets wearing it. It's just like, But clearly they've been making like money hand over fist in this time. So.
Oh yeah, hustling pool, sweeping floors. To grandma is like, she's like a geologist, and she could like go make money, especially in a mining town.
Yeah,
doing that, and instead she's like, I sweep floors.
Well, I think people would be very suspicious of like, like a woman.
She could be like, I'm from Canada.
Yeah, I'm from Canada.
They give women degrees there.
Yeah.
So the grandma goes into a corporate office and she shows a businessman Velcro, and it blows his fucking mind. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine
if you kidding me?
Can you imagine if you saw Velcro for the first time?
Dude, that would wreck my shit. You're not wrong. Yeah. Like, I'd be like, wait, so it's like... But I'd have to see like a practical application for it, because otherwise I'd be like, okay, it sticks together. What do you do? Like,
yeah.
But then if you showed me like a pair of pants with Velcro on it, I'd be like, oh shit.
Or like a Velcro wallet.
No, you'd have to show me a pair of cargo pants. It's cargo pants or nothing, baby.
And this is where I found
cargo pants are like the pinnacle of Velcro technology. We only went down from there.
We only went down.
There's no better use for Velcro than a pair of cargo pants.
That's very true. Mm-hmm. But this is where I found out an interesting fact, because I was like, I found out like the inventor of the real inventor of Velcro was a Swiss inventor with the last name Mistral.
Oh,
so Mistral is named after the real inventor of Velcro. Okay,
that's fun. Yeah. That's fun. That at least gives like some credit.
Yeah,
where credit's due. Okay, that's all right. So. Back at the the dude just gives her like a fucking giant wad of cash for the piece of Velcro. He's like, let me give you all of these old $50 bills, like all of them.
And it is also like kind of like doing the scene from Voyage Home.
Yeah.
Where
the aluminum.
Transparent aluminum. Yeah, where like. Scotty basically gives them like the most insane technology. Like here to pull is very restrained. She's like looking in an entire ship full of futuristic inventions, and
she's like, let me give them something that's just like dumb and like useful for a few things, but like isn't gonna give them warp technology.
No, before they're ready for it. Like fucking Scotty gives them aluminum that's transparent.
Yeah.
Like it's like and it has like greater strength and resilience than normal aluminum, but it's also transparent like glass. It's just like, what are you doing, Scotty? You just shot human development forward like 100 years.
Right. We can just like no one's ever dying from a glass accident again because like fucking aluminum is glass now.
Yeah, you think that would irrevocably change human history.
It would.
And like
it did. I mean, the transparent aluminum around here is like so useful. Like my Diet Pepsi is in transparent aluminum.
Yeah.
It's recyclable.
Yeah, it's recyclable, but it's just funny. Like he's just like, I'm just gonna go full hog. But I guess they did need transparent aluminum, so it's like,
they did.
We need you guys to produce it. But still, come on, Scotty.
Yeah, it was a plot point where I think they thought the story through, and they're like, as ridiculous as it is, like this does actually make sense to include in there, and people like big nerds will be asking like, okay, I don't think glass would really work in a
Yeah, but and then of course and they're just acting like they're doing all the chaotic goblin shit where Bones is given like a pill that grows kidneys to people. It's just like, they're just acting crazy. But, yeah.
So back at the Vulcan's house, the Mistral reminisces about humans and names all their strengths. He says that he plans to stay on Earth.
Yeah.
He says they're on the verge of countless advancements, and he has a chance to observe a developing civilization. I think he's like an anthropologist or something like that. And so he's really into that.
Yeah.
He wants to jerk off on that.
Which, it makes sense. It's like, at this point, Guinan is on Earth.
True.
If you imagine.
Yeah.
Like, Data's head is also buried somewhere on Earth. So there's lots of shit going on.
There is quite a bit of shit going on. You're not wrong. To Grandma wonders if it's about his girlfriend. I was like, you staying for that girl? He says, no, it's not about that.
I can't remember the bartender's name.
Yeah, me neither. I know. She's a bartender, and her son is the bartender's kid.
Yeah, bartender's kid.
That's fine. And we don't even know Mo's name.
Then there's pool guy.
Yeah, pool guy. Yeah, definitely. Which makes him sound like sexy and like he's a pool guy, He's the hot pool guy. You're a bored housewife. He's the hot pool guy.
No, he's just a guy that plays pool and drinks all day.
Yeah. Which is pretty sexy in itself, you gotta admit. Yeah, totally. So Mistral says it's not about his girlfriend and that he's going to leave her and go to larger cities. He doesn't say he's going to leave her, but it's implied. Unless she moves with him. But
that's kind of depressing, though.
Yeah, it is. So Mo says the council won't allow it, and to Grandma says she can get him on the next survey ship in 20 years. And he's like, no, it's not enough. That ain't good enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't, she's, I think, wants to, she knows how insane that request is to allow him to, I mean, this is basically, in Picard when they allow, Rios to stay behind.
Yeah, if anyone found him, if anyone saw his green blood, shit would be fucking over.
Especially since he works in the mines.
He says he wants to go to a big city. So but this is back when
do a pool shark tour.
Be a pool hustler. But that puts him in danger of violence too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pool hustlers get stabbed and shit. And
he's just gonna wear a beanie.
This is the 1950s too, when all the gangsters had the cool fucking switchblade knives and shit. Yeah. I feel like stabbing.
He's just gonna wear a beanie for the rest of his life and never be seen without it.
Yeah, and then if they see him, he can be like, "Oh, I'm German." And
got it.
Right, and also all of them have those crazy eyebrows, and no one ever questions them on it.
No, yeah, and also, they also have a very green complexion because of the green blood.
Right.
Which you don't see too often in a lot of the Star Trek stuff. But I think in Enterprise they really play it up. So you see they have a green pallor to their face. It's
Absolutely.
It's not gonna raise any red flags.
No. Green flags.
Yeah.
Like their blood.
Yeah, like their blood.
So the Vulcan rescue ship lands, and only 2 Vulcans appear for rescue, Mo and Grandma. Grandma says Mistral and the captain died when they got stranded, and the ship takes off back to Vulcan, leaving Mistral there, presumably.
Yeah, and it's because like the other Vulcans haven't discovered lying.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tamir has been on Earth, she discovered the ability to lie.
Right.
And so they don't even question her. They're like, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, yeah, they were kind of lying before. I don't know. Well, no, not really. Yeah, the humans did poison them. You're totally right. No, like they made Mistral like empathetic and stuff, but they also made him a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Huh.
But that's why, like, they're able to have just like, not even question. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're dead. Fine, let's go.
It's that toxic humanity.
Toxic
humanity, baby. So back in the present, Trip says that to Grandma rewrote human history, but she calls it a footnote. T'Pol calls it a footnote.
Especially giving them Velcro.
Yeah,
it's an okay invention.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how like life would be different with just only button cargo pants, though. I want you to think about that. Like, imagine that, or imagine.
Yeah, what if humans have developed Velcro on their own?
I mean, also like for people like you who can't tie their shoes, like, what could you do without the Velcro straps?
Crocs, clearly.
Oh, that's. I answered my own question. Yeah. I should have just looked to my right. Huh. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I've never seen you not in a pair of Crocs.
Yeah,
since we've been doing this podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have my work boots in my car, and I change it out of them immediately.
Yeah, your work boots.
And guess what? My work boots, they don't have laces either.
Oh wow.
They're just slip-ons.
Oh, like okay, I got a pair of slip-on boots, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So you don't have like any? Do you have any tied shoes?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know how to tie shoes?
I don't even know anymore, honestly.
Do you want me to show you how the rabbit goes around the tree dog?
I know the loop-de-loop song, that'll help me out.
Yeah, that's a good. Wait, you're talking like loop-de-loop. No, that's
loop-de-loop and pull. Now your shoes are looking cool. Yeah, from SpongeBob SquarePants.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of my generation, which is weird because you're like 6 years older than me. Yeah, exactly. So it's, I don't know how you know that one. So, T'Pol says that Mistral lived the rest of his life on Earth, presumably.
Yeah, presumably.
And it might have been a short life. He might have gotten stabbed immediately when they left.
Yeah, I mean, given like their lifespans, like he could have lived through the Bell Riots and World War III.
He could have, lived probably all the way until First Contact, the real First Contact.
Yeah.
And like gotten a ride back home or something.
That would have been funny, just like if they had gotten a 5th season, like because they do kind of like especially the Mirror episode, the Mirror Universe episode of Enterprise, like we get to see like a reimagining of First Contact, like where it's like the Vulcans land and actually like Zephyr Cochrane's evil and shoots him with a shotgun.
Hell yeah.
And so it would have been funny if we did have a later episode where we saw like, an elderly Mistral like honestly connecting with the even like, hey, what's going on? I've been here the entire time.
Yeah, that I think that is the far more like reasonable thing that would happen. I mean, like in the world that we live in, if aliens landed, someone would shoot him with a shotgun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's no question. At least in America.
I mean, we are living in the mirror universe of a better one. So.
We are in the Terran Empire, indeed. It's unfortunate. Thanks, Terran Brandon. Trip wonders what happened when Mistral died. It's a good question.
We don't know.
It's a great question. He had green blood.
Yeah, I mean,
his green blood and weird ears, man.
Well, that's what I'm guessing. You kind of have to like fill in like what you think probably happened, and the fact that he went undiscovered, it could mean like he probably had like a group of trusted humans that he confided in his true identity. Like I'm an alien. Like that's what I was you kind of expected at the end of this episode.
Especially and I wanted to talk about it. Pon farr. Every 7 years he gets the Pon farr. And if he's not able to fuck, he goes insane.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, every 7 years, like, that's like that's bad because we see that like Vulcans get like real touchy and like kind of creepy when they're in the Pon farr and can't find consensual sex.
Yeah.
So like I have concerns about Mistral.
Well, that's why you kind of assume like he probably did develop a relationship with the bartender. Like,
but she's only around for so long. She's only got a human lifespan.
Yeah.
And also, like...
He's doing the Highlander stuff where he just gets a new wife.
Yeah, well, can he keep her around for, like, all time? Because, like, first she's going to see the ears. She's going to, like, know he's a Vulcan. And also, like, he's going to, like, not age while she ages and dies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, apparently Mistral was successful at hiding his true identity till the end of his life.
Yeah, maybe. Because the next line is, T'Pol says, they're like, is any of this true? And T'Pol says, well, you asked me to tell you a story, implying that the whole thing might have been false and just completely made up. But does T'Pol, like, know how to lie like that?
I mean, she's just like...
She's been around humans for a while, I guess. So.
It's also, like, this is very early on in Enterprise where, like, the Vulcan High Council's being very secretive with humans.
Very true.
And are purposely withholding a lot of technology and information that's useful to them. And so it's just like...
if you were the Vulcans, you would too. I mean, like, seeing how humanity is played out with, like, new technologies and shit, it's been... what's the word I'm looking for? Bad.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, she told them the true story and they were incredulous and, and just like, that clearly didn't really happen. You're just pulling our chain. She's like, yes, that's exactly what I was doing, just just like didn't want him to think about it because like she is confiding like some, it's probably a secret that's been within her family their entire time, entire life because it's like
if it happened because she goes on to say that she went to some other caves and parks on her leave as her duty as a geologist, which is like, so she maybe was not spending like time in Carbon Creek for any reason other than like mines are there.
But I mean the end it shows that she was telling the truth.
So she thanks Archer for the meal even though they only had wine and excuses herself. Is wine a meal? This is my question here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in the future...
is grapes a meal?
In the future, it could have been, like, protein wine. Who knows? It's like, there's just, like... Just has all your vitamins and minerals that you need in a nice little convenient wine glass.
Protein wine sounds disgusting. I'm just imagining, like, a chocolate protein shake with, like, a glass of wine dumped in.
Just thick.
Oh, thick. Oh, I love thick wine.
Yeah, thick room temperature wine. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yum. So, in her quarters, T'Pol pulls out a cloth from her nightstand, and in it is wrapped a purse.
Yeah.
The one that to Grandma had.
Yeah. So it was true all along.
Yeah, which is, I don't know how, like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was true all along unless her grandma just made up a story about a purse that she gave her.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be weird if she had, like, a vintage human purse from the 1950s, so.
Yeah.
Just that it's been passed throughout her family for 200 years.
It would be weird, but, people keep weirder things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But no, it's a true story. Like Mistral,
it's a true story. You're saying, this is something that happened.
Yeah, it's actually something historical that happened. I mean, and also like and even like Picard also has like another like pre Bosman, Montana first contact situation. When that detective met like a Vulcan in the woods.
Right.
so yeah, just like the Vulcans have just been like hanging out on Earth for decades, before first contact. So
yeah, and technically, like, and also like, didn't Spock and Kirk go back to like Nazi Germany too? So
yeah,
Vulcan was on Earth before the 1950s.
Yeah,
I don't know what you can consider first contact.
Yeah, and also, I don't think T'Pol, like, also, like, a later episode of Enterprise, they go to alternate Earth. That was where the future aliens went back in time and helped the Nazis out.
Cool.
And
very cool.
And so, like, Archer goes and they have to change the timeline back to normal. Nice. I'm pretty sure T'Pol went back, but yeah, it has, like, those weird aliens that look like Dracula's. In Nazi uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah,
and actually, like the one alien in that episode, the one that's like that they kind of capture and later shoot was played by the actor who played Tuvix.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So Tuvix always gets fucking murked.
Tuvix.
That guy is, he's like Sean Bean. Like you rent him in order to kill him in your property.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
So that's the end of the episode. What do you think of this guy?
It's I loved it. It's one of my favorite episodes.
I think it's one of the better episodes of Enterprise in that, like, I don't know, it's episode of Enterprise without like specifically like bad politics.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of episodes of Enterprise with lackluster politics.
Yeah. I mean,
things that aren't resolved, things that aren't like, we were talking earlier about like torture in Star Trek, and there's
because they have their own 9/11 that happens from the Xindi,
right?
And so like
the Xindi Wars and just like the militarization of Starfleet.
Yeah,
it's not my favorite.
The Mako,
the Mako soldiers, not my favorite. And actually, one of the Mako soldiers was named after the writer of this episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Mako soldier with the name Black.
Okay,
named after him. So. Yeah, but this was a fun episode. It was a fun, like, not exactly revisionist history episode or anything like that, but it was a fun,
I mean, I do feel like Enterprise does do a lot of revisionist history with like the Vulcans, because we have our canonically first two half human, half Vulcan hybrids that appear in, so there's like half Vulcan hybrids that happened before Spock,
right?
And so it kind of rewrites that, and presumably could have been like even with Mistral if he could have had a family at some point. So true,
yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Do you think like half Vulcans control the deep state?
Oh, maybe. We never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good episode that I think really opened up, it got to tell a different story and, put a lot of what ifs in there. It makes you think about, what Mistral's life could have been.
Right, and how like he might have like influenced Earth history. He
just like Rios did apparently too.
Yeah, like, and also like to Grandma did with the Velcro.
Yeah.
Like she introduced Velcro to the world. Like, he could have introduced some other technology, like bondage pants or something. He could have been the inventor of Jinkos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you think they have Jinkos on Vulcan?
Oh yeah. Maybe those Orbits drinks that were. Really big.
Yeah. They were like it was like drinking a lava lamp almost.
Yeah. It was like you got those weird little chunks just floating in like thick fluid.
Yeah.
Clear fluid. That was great.
I think they were made out of gelatin too. So it was like you were drinking like a meat based beverage kind of.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Like he introduced them to an early version of
the protein
wine. Yeah.
Protein wine. Yeah, that's true. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. There's got to be some protein.
Non-alcoholic protein wine. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great theory. I like that. Thank you. Non-alcoholic protein wine. Well, perfect. I think that's probably a great place for us to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got any final thoughts on this episide?
No, go watch it. Yeah. I just finished like a whole rewatch of Enterprise, and yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I saw you were doing that on my server. How was that?
It was great. I mean, obviously, like a lot of the the 9/11 heavy episodes are pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
which is basically anything after season 1, but especially season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the ending's dog shit.
Oh, the ending is the fucking
probably
worst.
The worst ending in all of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Especially considering like the 2-parter that's before that final episode is a great ending point. If it ended there, it would have been fine. But instead, like that very awkward episode has to conclude the entire story with like the death of a major character completely unceremoniously. So
hate it. No.
Yeah.
We don't.
I mean, but I would say like there are some really good episodes of Enterprise that are worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if the whole series overall is worth it. It's one of the lesser Star Treks for certain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But no, it's still. I mean, it has its high points. The actors all put in great performances. There's no one who's calling it in like Robert Beltran is on Voyager.
Yeah. If anything, like Phlox himself, like he's an amazing character.
Oh,
like,
Dr. Phlox is incredible.
He sells it every single episode. Of course, also can't ever go wrong with Shran.
Shran is great. Is Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs. Like
Jeffrey Combs, I think plays more roles in Enterprise than he does in like any other series. Like he's in a bunch of stuff in Enterprise.
I think he plays more characters in Deep Space Nine.
He might be. Well, I mean, definitely technically because he plays like 7 different versions of Wayun.
Yeah, and then of course, like, you have like, you have Wayun, you have Brunt.
Brunt. You have. Was he Damar? No, he wasn't Damar.
No. You also have the one alien that wanted like the Kira sex tape.
Oh yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, so I think he plays 3 characters total. I think.
Okay.
Could be wrong. Could be more.
I mean, we're counting all 8 Wayuns.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, count all 8 Wayuns. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a great place for us to leave it. Thanks for hanging with us, Soyagers. Be well, travel safe, and check out Carbon Creek. It's a pretty good episode.
Yeah, it's a great episode. I love it. All right. Thanks for checking with us, soy boys, girls, and overly beans.
Hang dong and shocker.
Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy.